Welcome back, guys. Did that just happen again with Monops and Paymon? You know the deal already.
Yeah, that's the two of us. It's been the two of us all these episodes. It's probably not going to change. Unless I get deported or something. I mean, I don't know.
Could happen, dude.
It could happen.
Buyout, you never know.
Anything could happen. Back with a couple new topics. A lot of stuff has happened over the last couple of weeks.
It's been an interesting few weeks.
We got some news in the NFL, a little bit of stuff going on in college football. Mm-hmm. We got another UFC card coming up, which I think the last one you absolutely destroyed me on.
I think I did. Yeah, I went 5-5. That is true.
That's embarrassing.
Because you picked the fan pick of Brock Lesnar.
Dude, I didn't go with the fan pick. I was a fan of Brock Lesnar before 80% of the UFC people were fans of Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, still the fan pick.
Factual. Fact, not opinion, according to Mike Felger. That's like the coolest line ever, dude. All he says whenever people call into the radio show, and he's just like listing stats about the Patriots, like people call him like, oh, they should have kept Randy Moss. He goes, they're a better team because of this, and then he pauses and goes, fact, not opinion. Check it out.
That's pretty sweet.
Dude, he's got to trademark that, because that's phenomenal.
Dude, speaking of Patriots, did you see the thing about Dave Meggett today?
Yeah, 30 years?
30 years in jail, dude.
That's terrible.
Good luck.
You know what's funny? You know where I learned about that? Barstool Sports.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Which had an absolutely hilarious capture to it, which I'm not going to repeat here.
That's okay.
But that website is my go-to site for
beautiful
world news.
Oh, yeah. Everything. Smoke show news.
Visual entertainment, if you will. It's a great website.
How's today's smoke show? Good? I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah, no, she was.
3 for 3 this week?
Dude, this week has been prime.
Oh,
and, it's funny because I check Boston and New York both sites. And New York always has, the better smoke shows.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
100% of the time. This week, it's been, so Boston.
Nice, dude.
It's pretty sweet. I'm proud to be a Bostonian this week when it comes to Barstool.
Absolutely.
Let's get kicked off. Let's start with UFC 123 is coming up. The main event for this one is Rampage versus Machido. We'll get to that at the end. We're going to start from the bottom of the main card and work our way up. There's a fighter or two that I'm not too familiar with, and Matt's not that familiar with, and if Matt's not familiar with it, I sure as hell don't know. First fight of the night is Joe Lauzon versus George Satropoulos. Butchered that name.
Close.
Soteropoulos.
Something like that.
I was way closer.
Do you want me to go first or not?
Yes, please do.
I'm going to take...
He's got to be Greek.
I think so, yeah.
I mean,
Joe Lauzon. He just completely destroyed his last opponent. I think it was the one in Boston.
It was the one in Boston.
He was Gabe Rudiger, if I recall.
Sir.
He just destroyed him. And I'm happy he's finally on a main card. He's a great fighter. Soteropoulos is a good fighter, too, but I think he's finally coming into his own. He's finally going to actually do something. And plus, he's a hometown kid, so.
Right, exactly. I mean, all this talk about Barstool Boston pride. We're watching the Bruins. We got the Celtics on tonight. You got to go with the Boston boy here. No, seriously. Lauzon's been getting better every fight.
Absolutely.
He's earned his spot on the main card. Granted, he's the opening fight on the main card. It's still the main card. You're making more money than the guy in the prelims. You're getting more exposure. Good for him. Good to see him up there. Hopefully he can work his way up the ranks and bring a title home to Boston.
That'd be pretty sweet.
There hasn't been a champion from Boston in the UFC.
I don't think so. Kenny Florian keeps fucking it up. So.
I know, every time. It's like he gets so close and he's like, you know what? I want to take a step back. Up next, we got Phil Davis versus Tim Boesch.
I'm going to go Tim Boesch only because I've never heard of Phil Davis, so I don't know.
Yeah, I see. That's where I'm at with this one. I mean, Tim Boesch, and I've never heard of Phil Davis. Maybe he's great. Maybe you and I would be like, wow, this guy Phil Davis is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But also, Bruins just scored. Zdeno Chara, the captain, 1-1. Anyway, back to this. Tim Boesch. Also, the cool thing about it, pretend you're at a bar, right, and you see your friend who's named Tim Boesch.
Oh, that'd be
and
fun.
You just yell, Tim Boesch! You know what I mean? It's excellent.
That could be really fun, actually.
That's going to be great. I have a couple friends named Tim. I really want to start calling one of them Tim Boesch.
I think we should call him Tim Boesch.
I think we should start doing that together. We have a couple mutual friends named Tim.
We do. Let's do it, then.
Let's run it by them first.
That's okay.
Next up is Gerald Harris versus Mikel Falcao.
I don't know either, dude. I'm going to go with Mikel Falcao because his name's cooler.
You know what? I'm behind, so I need a coin right now. Do you have a coin?
I do not have a coin.
I have a poker chip.
Flip the poke chip.
Poker chips look absolutely identical on both sides. So this one
this
one has a stain on it over here, okay?
Yep,
this side does not.
I see it.
This side will be
Alright, how
Gerald
would you
Harris.
do this? I did the cool name. Why don't you just say the other one?
I'm flipping the poker chip.
Inconclusive.
No, it's this one. I have Gerald Harris. Which is cool because I'll remember that name because I sure as hell won't remember Michael Falcao or whatever
That's
you
even how
say
you
it.
say it, but that's okay.
That's not even true. Anyway, the two important fights of the whole night, aside from Joe Lozon representing Boston, is the co-main event, BJ Penn versus Matt Hughes. Two UFC quote-unquote icons here. I think Matt Hughes is more of an icon than
Oh, absolutely.
BJ Penn.
Absolutely.
In my personal opinion, I sure as hell wouldn't want to fight BJ, but I think he's way overrated. He's living off of a reputation that he made when he was younger and absolutely unstoppable. Back when he could, go the distance with fighters. I haven't seen BJ Penn have an impressive fight that goes out of the first round in probably 3 years. 2 to 3 years. I mean, Frankie Edgar, both times they went out of the first round. I think Edgar dominated every round of their last two fights.
Oh, absolutely. And people say the first fight was like a...
It was split.
joke.
Absolutely
It was-
not.
No way.
And then BJ Penn doesn't do it for me. I think Matt Hughes is I think he is the ambassador of the sport. He's not.
I agree.
I mean, Ken Shamrock's retired. Ken Shamrock was the ambassador.
I don't even know about that.
Ken Shamrock was
kind
like-
of has an asshole attitude to him. Matt Hughes is
He
like
does-
a very personal
He
guy.
does,
to
but
go
towards the
talk
end,
to.
Shamrock really straightened out because he accepted the fact that he's kind of the face of the UFC at the time. That's when they were kind of getting on the map. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was the big name. He did stuff out of the UFC also, so his name became popular. I'm going Matt Hughes here. Obviously, he brings more to the table. He's won a couple fights in a row. BJ's lost a couple fights in a row, and I truthfully believe if BJ Penn comes out unimpressive and Hughes just wipes them out with him, and this might be the last time you see BJ Penn. I remember Joe Rogan got in the octagon last time after the Frankie Edgar fight, and he goes, what's next for you now, BJ? And BJ, he kind of he had that defeated look on his face, like, I don't know. And I think that's actually what he said. He goes, I don't know, we got to see. So I would actually like nothing more than for BJ Penn to retire because
I agree
he's
with you, actually.
paying $45 to watch each one of these events or going to the bars and, paying to get in. It's not worth it for BJ Penn.
And he never changes his style.
Same
He
thing.
did the same thing the first fight against Frankie Edgar. They did the second fight, and both resulted in him getting fucked up.
Yeah, so I mean,
you gotta change your style, bro.
I'm with Matt Hughes here. I gave my analysis Monopoly. Take us away.
I'm gonna take Matt Hughes as well. I think these two fighters, like you said, I don't know if I'd throw the word icon for BJ Penn, but I can see that. They're both going in opposite directions in their career. Matt Hughes, who everyone thought was washed up and is done, has won like 3 or 4 fights in a row now, pretty convincingly. He destroyed Renzo Gracie, beat Ricardo Almeida pretty good. He's doing really well right now. BJ Penn lost those 2. I don't know what would happen if BJ Penn loses a 3rd fight in a row. Maybe now that they are merged with the WEC, they maybe drop down a weight class. 'Cause I can't see him going to welterweight.
No, absolutely not.
Because George St. Pierre would kick his ass. Fucking basically everyone in the welterweight division would whip his
Koscheck
ass.
would
I
kill
think
him.
Koscheck would just pick him up and throw him around.
Koscheck. I mean, I think the fight of the year that I'm most anticipating, even more than the Brock Lesnar Cain Velasquez
Yeah.
fight, because that was billed really well.
Oh yeah,
I'm really looking forward to GSP and Koscheck.
me too, dude. I
mean,
can't
that
wait
is-
for our analysis of that fight.
That is
Really
like
can't.
we might spend the whole show on
I'm
one
okay
fight.
with that. I'm taking Koscheck, just so you know.
GSP is my man crush upon man crushes,
I'm well aware.
so I'm taking him to the death. So we're both riding Matt Hughes here. Both agree
sir,
that
Matt
he's got
Hughes,
more
baby.
going for him. To me, the two ambassadors of the sport, the two true icons of the sport, are Matt Hughes and Randy Couture. That's it. I mean, those two
Natural.
guys. I can't wait to see Couture fight again. He amazed me. He's 46,
Yeah,
and he's
he
still
is
pounding away.
Still
And
pounding dudes.
don't throw jokes like James Toney in front
I
of
was
him.
gonna say, hopefully it's a real fight next time.
I mean, that was great to see. It's good to see. But it's funny because James Toney, he went out and said, oh, didn't he start talking trash about another fighter?
I believe he did, yeah.
And then he's like, oh, put me in the ring with him.
Oh, Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. And I'm like, dude, you just got murdered by Randy Couture
know,
in
it's like, calm
under a
fuck
minute
down.
and a half. You need to cool your jets, homie.
Oh my god.
And
Straight
main
cash,
event,
homie.
Quentin Rampage Jackson versus Lyoto Machida. Who do you got here, man? Enlighten me.
This is gonna be tough call for me because I think both of them have very, very different styles. I think it depends on whose style is gonna come out victorious. If Rampage, be Rampage, uses strength, uses his brute force to throw him around and take him out, then obviously he's gonna dominate. But if Machida can, use the karate kicks to keep the distance and stuff like that, then he's gonna win. I think I'm gonna go with Rampage. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last time we saw Machida, wasn't it against Shogun?
Yeah, and he got fucked up.
See, and Machida's he's what 16-1 or something, right?
Yeah, I believe
That was his only
first
loss, 14 or 16-1. I watched. They had it on Unleashed a couple weeks ago. The first fight between Shogun and Machida, and I don't see how the hell Machida won that fight.
Dude, that's a good question. I don't know either.
I was blown away by it. But then again, I did watch the last Quentin Rampage fight
He didn't
too.
look very good either.
And there was one point of that. You and I went to see that together.
Yep.
And we were just like waiting for him to attack. And there was one point where he took Rashad down and just couldn't do anything with it. He did a couple shots where like, it's over. And he just let him up.
Yep.
Like, what are you thinking?
It's like he forgot his intensity that
so-
day.
It's both guys coming off a loss. You never want to have consecutive losses in the UFC. I mean, there's too many good guys right now. I think Machida's a little bit quicker. I think his feet give him more of an advantage because Rampage is more just like fists and power. Machida's quicker. He can do those kicks coming at him. I think it's going to be a really good fight. I'm excited about it.
I think it's going to be a real great
I think it's a nice little sandwich fight that they're doing between the Lesnar Velasquez and the GSP Koscheck, keeping people into it. I know GSP
absolutely.
Koscheck's in like December,
Yeah.
but I mean this is like the big card before then. So, should be fun. I mean,
And honestly, I really hope this isn't a title eliminator match because I don't really want to see like the matchup like that would be if one of them won.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't want to see that right now. With so many up and comers coming up, like the Ryan Bader John Jones fight, which is rumored to be happening in February. If that happens, I think one of them should maybe get a shot, depending on who wins that fight. But I don't know. I don't want to see.
I don't think that this will be title implications.
I hope
I
not.
hope not. I mean, it's a main event. Dana always likes to promote something for the main event, not just a regular fight.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not because I don't see these guys, both of them coming off a loss. Neither one of them impressive. Didn't Shogun knock out Machida in the first round?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
like we said, Rashad just absolutely crushed Rampage.
And I don't want to see a third fucking Shogun Machida fight.
I don't even
6
think.
months.
I mean,
I
you
just don't
definitely
wanna
don't
see
want
that.
3 fights between these guys in 1 year, especially when, in everyone's opinion, except for those 3 judges, Shogun won both fights.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which is why
Absolutely.
Dana made the immediate rematch.
Yeah.
Because he's like, that's dumb. I mean, I'm blown away by it. But no, I mean, it's good card. Couple of fighters that I don't really know too much about. I think there's some people who they could have used. I mean, there's some people I haven't seen in fights in a while now.
Yeah.
Where are these? Where's Rashad been since that fight?
Shad's waiting for his shot with Shogun, who's like recovering from whatever surgery he had,
And
knee surgery or some shit.
Didn't I heard Carwin just backed out of his fight with Roy Nelson?
Yep, he has back problems or some
Dude,
shit like that.
Carwin should be good to beat Roy Nelson while Carwin's in a wheelchair.
That's a stupid fight for Shane Carwin.
It's a dumb fight for him. Like, you're coming off the Brock Lesnar fight where, like, if that first round was 10 seconds longer, Shane Carwin's the heavyweight champion.
Oh, absolutely.
Or if Carwin worked a little bit harder on cardio, he's never been out of the first round. You gotta, prepare for that.
Especially with someone like Brock. But
Right. I mean, Brock's just
story
a
for
freak.
another day.
But no, it's gonna be good card. I'd like to see John Fitch back in the game. I really like watching it. There's
John
something
Fitch is
about-
getting out relatively soon, I think. I think maybe after the first of the year.
Yeah, I mean,
Soon,
I like
something.
Fitch a lot. It's a shame. I truthfully think it's a shame after the performance that Dan Hardy put against GSP that he was put on a free show on Spike with Michael Bisping as the main event. I understand it's in the UK. Dan Hardy's from the UK. I would pay my money more to see Dan Hardy than Michael Bisping.
It's funny. I read an article recently in the UFC magazine that Michael Bisping is basically a hero in the UK, but everyone in America hates him. And he's basically like 2 different people. It's crazy.
Oh, I totally believe that.
But I 100% agree with you.
We did a lot of UFC right there. That's pretty good,
Yeah,
man.
I was looking at the time. Holy
Considering
shit.
we only know like 3 of the fights, like pretty decently.
I like it.
But no, it was good. We're gonna come back in part 2. We're gonna do a little bit of on college football this year, a little bit of the BCS rankings, one of the top schools' star players, and a little bit of hot water, and then
Yes,
we're
sir.
gonna talk a little bit about the NFL coaching
Where
carousel.
the fuck
if you
did
will.
Auburn come from, first off?
Where is Auburn? I swear to God,
in Massachusetts.
growing up really quick, I
Me
was
too.
at Auburn.
I
I was
thought
like,
so.
dude, that's awesome. I'm totally gonna go to Auburn.
That's
We'll be right back with part 2.